like I wouldn't have experienced all, and I don't know if it was just simultaneous with my own thoughts going into it or whatever, but it was just a very good educational year, and it still is going on. I was able to readjust my thoughts about education, period. Like, there was just so many other things that I should have been, I should have been focusing on that instead of just being like, let this thing that I need to get out of the classroom. I need to do this and that.
And that's what, I was just talking to somebody this weekend about that. This is a little tea shines for your soul, Lord, and a little infused into this friend fix.
Yes. A little deep.
Yeah, but we have some more that may not be as deep coming up.
Don't worry.
I was just thinking about the frustration of teachers, and Lord, my daddy preaches this sermon where he goes, garbage in, garbage out. And so the reality is, teachers and educators have been fed with such garbage. We've been told that we need to panic about these curricular standards that we have to follow. We've been told that we should be totally ticked off that the state is putting all these standardized test parameters on us, which the whole state, in Georgia in particular, if you're listening from out of state, but in Georgia in particular, where the whole state is performing at about 35% on these standardized tests, yet we are killing ourselves in the classroom trying so hard to reach this standard that we're already angry about, that the state has set for us. However, just like you just said, it was so perfect, so in line with what I was talking about this weekend. I was just telling this non-teacher, I said, I just really believe that it's a simple matter of our mindset. Like, we are grumpy about these things because somebody is telling us that we should be that, or we should be feeling devalued or undervalued because of what other people are saying for us, or to us, or about us in media. So it's the same thing. It's like we never know what type of experiences we're being. I feel like I'm preaching to myself because I'm the one that had the comparison motivation issue, but we don't realize what our experiences are leading us up to. So if we're comparing ourselves to somebody else's experience or what they're going through or what they're doing, we may totally miss what the whole point of what our experience is.
And I feel like God told us greater than that. Like, I looked at, and you even sent a text and was like, those people, that's probably their end. So, and in my mind, I was like, I got a whole bunch of, like, when you think about how big the world is, it's not just what that position would be. And I even had to say, like, my access is way beyond what could happen in this county. Like, even if it's a big county, like, still, I couldn't see myself staying there and just still doing the same things and seeing the same things and still not having the freedom to advocate or having the political access to advocate. And just, our county really does try to shut us up about a lot of stuff. And I couldn't be a soldier for that. Like, I can be a teacher for that because I'm reaching kids. But when I start working with adults and telling them what they have to say and what they have to do and how they have to,
you ain't even about that life.
It's not.
And see, at that time, it was just all about, I guess, fulfilling that title or that cycle that people automatically, we've talked about this, I think, that people think that I'm automatically supposed to go to be a principal next and a superintendent. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, because people will ask, like, what's next? So if you're a classroom teacher, people will say, what's next? So, and I have friends who want to stay in the classroom forever. They feel great there.
And it's
but
okay.
They constantly get asked, okay, so what's going to happen next? Because they are so used to teachers saying the next step would be, now I'm a, academic coach, or now I'm a principal, or now I am, left. Like, it just, there seems to be an idea that teachers don't stay in the classroom after a certain amount of years.
Right.
So
I love what you just gave me. At the end of the day, what God has for us is for us. And you just have to really be careful about that trick of comparison, because really there's no comparison. Like most of the times you're on your whole separate path.
Totally
so for
different.
You to look at what somebody else is doing and how they're doing it and the speed at which they're doing it, that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was like, I remember looking around the room and being like, when I say you, I mean, I've sat in board meetings with you. I've sat at department chair meetings with you, and you're the most annoying person in the world. I wouldn't even want to work with you. So who are you going to teach? Like, it was like way off. And I was like, who am I to even, I don't want to be in the same room with people like this. Like, I really want to create my own space.
Yes.
Because that's not really what I'm signing up for.
So that shows us a trick. It really absolutely is a trick. I fell for it. I can say it out loud. I fell for the trick. There was nothing for me to even be comparing about. All different types of ventures, like what the
totally
heck?
Different everything.
Yeah.
But just the idea of you thinking that was more successful than where you were right then. It wasn't
the progress was being made that I wasn't making. Mm-hmm. Amen. I like that.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of teacher talk, and it was a little bit of Theteashines and friend bags.
Yeah, we had that was a triple threat right there, boy. Mm-hmm. All right, so transitioning. You know how I told you that I'm so excited about this new freedom that I have found with having my own separate account. And
you keep talking about this budget, and I never understand what you're talking about when you say it. It's always in a text, like, girl, with this new budget. And I'm like,
okay,
what are you talking about?
Everybody operates differently, I think.
I thought it was your book budget. I thought it was just from, like, sales from a book that you could buy stuff now.
Oh.
In my mind.
Gosh.
I don't know.
Way off.
I know.
Okay, so every marriage I found, either you have joint accounts or you have separate accounts, or there's a hybrid that I have seen a lot of where you have the big pot of money that you pay all of your bills off with and, work with the necessities and things like that.
That's what we do.
The household accounts. And then you have your allowances.
Right.
Or side individual budget. Well, forever, we have had joint accounts, period.
All in one pot?
Yes.
Okay.
So even my spending money is in the pot. Even his spending money is in the pot. Okay. And he never understood. Like, for years, I have told my husband, I need a separate account. Like, I feel like...
Why did you need that?
I just felt like... You said you have one too? A separate account?
But if you had always had it together, why would you feel like you would need it separate?
Because my brain cannot separate from the big bulk. So even if I've ended, like, I've spent my $100 budget all the way up.
And who's keeping track of how much is 100? You? So, like, let's say your budget was 100, and you're swiping, swipe. You're supposed to count that up?
Yes.
Oh, so that goes with, like, balancing a checkbook and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
I'm doing that in my head because I'm like, ooh, I'm doing so good. I know I got $30 left. Yeah. But then I go to Target and spend $36. And it's like, oh, well, I know all the rest of the money's there. No overdraft problems here.
Okay.
But see, my husband can do all that junk in his head. Like, he is so self-disciplined, because that's what this boils down to. Right. He is so self-disciplined, he can say, nope, I'm not spending any money until it's time for me to buy my big purchase. And that's been our whole argument all these years. Because, I would run around in these stores,
little Marshalls, things here,
and TJ Maxx, and look for the cute, quick purchases. And like, ooh, I just feel like I want a shirt. I'm going to go get a shirt. And he would always say, I don't understand why you're not disciplined enough to just save up for the shopping spree. or just save up to go and get all those things that you want, the big things that you want, instead of getting all this little junk that has no value.
So this is kind of where I see how me and Seth are like, and you and Val are separate. Like, even though he doesn't spend a lot, luckily he's not like a...
Right, like I wasn't spending...
Not a spender, but he doesn't understand overdraft. Like,
I mean, he
sees that there's money there, so if it's his personal account and it's 50 cents left, he's gonna buy the candy bar for 50 cents. Like,
oh yeah.
So I'm like, what are you doing? So, I don't, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, if the account is at $500, then that's zero. Like, I just feel like, stop all things. Like, don't keep spending past where it is just because I feel like, you know, that's trouble zone.
Right. So, that's how I was when it was
joint.
Yes. I was
all
just like,
together.
I was like, oh, well, you know,
there's more
I
there.
understand I might have $20 left, but I'm going to go over here and get these rain boots for my babies. And so what? They're 60 because clearly it's there.
Right.
So it's not like I'm really being penalized for going over my budget. And it's not like I went in with the ill intent. It was just that it was like, okay, in the back of my mind, I always knew that it was our big pot. So I really didn't have a real reason to be all the way disciplined. Okay. So I was around about what I was supposed to be spending. But I mean, you know, over time, that 25 here, 30 there adds up over a 12-month period. Right. So, you know, that turns into a bulk of money. Right. So I've been just insisting. I'm like, I need my own account. I need my own account. I need my own account. Well, for years, he was just like, that doesn't make sense. We're working against each other. So then, all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I think he looked at our budget and the amount that I was spending, and I don't know how it happened, but it was around the Christmas season. Okay. And it was around, like, all the holidays and birthdays. So you were like, women be shopping.
Just doing it up.
Right.
Little here, little there, but it was adding up.
It was adding up, and I was just like, I just don't see how that's possible. And now some of it really was. Once I went back through it and took out the stuff that I was not technically responsible for, I was really more only $100 over. Okay. Not where it looked like I was $1,000 over. Oh, okay. And I was just like that. And I got sick to my stomach because this is when I was really working to stay conscientious.
Yeah, you're like, ain't no way I did that.
Yeah. So it wasn't. Thank goodness. And I was able to show and prove because, you know, y'all are show and prove types of people. But finally got my own account where I have my little budget sent to my account. That you're so separately. Proud about. I am, because here's what I mean by the freedom. So because I can see my account, then I feel like this is really detached from our household.
Well, the way that you described this budget, I felt like you were just balling. Because Beyonce... Right. And then you were like, let's go ahead and fly to LA. And I'm like, okay, budget, come through. Because I don't know how that works.
So, because it's separate, and I can see it apart from, and I know that it's my money,
and it's not going towards bills. It's not going towards.
It's going towards my business and my children. Okay, and me. Like all of our little keep up with ourselves,
whatnots and tiddlywinks.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you know, all of our food, if I have to go out to eat and stuff like that, all of that is
your play money.
Basically. I mean, do we call play business our business budget though?
No.
Right, because I'm having to pay that and it's not
that's not play money.
It's not exciting. But it's still, there is a certain type of level of independence that comes with that as well, with me having my own separate and really knowing that I'm fully responsible for my business. So,
but when you have book sales and stuff, that just adds to your allowance, or
no, that's it goes totally
somewhere else,
separate. Okay, a whole different business account. Okay, which I also like. So the reason that it feels like I'm balling now is because in my budget,